Welcome in, Minnesota high school football fans. We are back with another coach interview. This time we are interviewing Eastview's head coach, Coach Buckley. Coach Buckley, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm excited. We're recording this early August, and this is kind of the time when the rubber meets the road and we can really start to buckle down for the football season. So, how can you not be doing good? That's what it
It's an
means.
exciting time. Oh yeah.
Just talk about your overall coaching experience and kind of the path that got you to the Eastview football program.
Sure. Yeah. I'm originally from Western Canada. I play all my football in Canada. It's 12-man football. It's essentially the same, but another guy on the field, little different field dimensions. I coached back home for 5 years as a head coach for a team in Canmore, Alberta. We won the provincial championship in 2018. My wife's an Egan High School, Minnesota alumni, so we wanted to be closer to her family, so we moved down south to Minnesota, and we kind of settled in the south suburban area, and there was an opening at Eastview High School, and I took the job on PE teacher there, and being a football coach, wanted to continue doing that, and so this will be my 6th year at Eastview, 4th year as head coach, and loved every minute of it.
Is is there a big difference from Canadian football to I feel like when I view it from comparing American football to Canadian football, I was like, okay, there are a couple big
Yeah,
differences, but maybe the other way around, it's a little bit different. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's when you boil it down, it's the same game, but there's 12 guys. There's different rules with like the motion of receivers. There's slightly different
Is there only
scoring
three downs?
rules.
I feel
Three
like
downs. Yep, there's
yeah,
3 downs. The field is wider and longer. The end zones are bigger. You miss a field goal, but you kick it at the end zone. It's a single point. So there's some wacky things if you're used to American football, as we call it, and you're watching Canadian football. You'd need somebody there to kind of translate a little bit.
I guess we do have nine-man football too, so it's in a way it's just one
Yeah,
more person.
exactly. It's just a little subtle difference.
Eastview, you guys run a spread type offense.
Yep. Yeah, we
Just
do.
tell me a little about that, and then tell me about kind of the importance of the quarterback position and kind of spearheading that, and what you guys are looking for that this year.
Definitely. So yeah, we like to try and balance it out with our run and pass game. You know, RPOs, some set pass plays, and it's definitely leaning heavily on the quarterback position to be able to make those decisions. You know, like you said, the rubber meets the road here in August. It's the same when the quarterback's got the snap and he's got to make his read. So the past 2 years, we've had a quarterback who was really solid and really understood our offense and our progressions, and he's gone this year. He's gone down to Gustavus, and so we have a new senior starter this year in Theo Schwinninger, and we're going to rely on him a lot to be able to make those same decisions. I think that when you run the spread, there's always that chance of you string together a couple incompletions, the clock goes 30 seconds off, and then you're putting the ball away. And some of the offenses that you play in 6A football, they can punish you if you give them too many possessions. So um, when you run the spread, you got to complete passes, and that's kind of what we're focused on: stringing together first downs, some completions, and put some points on the board.
Yeah. What's your program motto over there at Eastview? I know all head coaches kind of have, one sentence or a few words that kind of represent the
Sure.
program. What's it at Eastview?
Well, this year the senior players chose all in. I know programs will do that; they'll have the season motto, and so this year's motto was all in, kind of reflective of our guys' um, approach to the off season. We wanted to continue to take steps to progress and build on where we were and where we're going. And so, our off-season lifting, our summer programming, all that stuff has been sort of centered around that of, are you all in? Do you really want to build this program to what we think it could be? And that's where we're all at right now.
A lot of the focus goes to the top teams in 6A, but I think being a rebuilding team in 6A, it comes with like a lot of challenges, and just the fact that I kind of want to pick your brain on it. That
Sure.
when you go up against teams that maybe you are, whether it's due to just enrollment wise, because enrollment wise does do a decent amount for programs in becoming good, or just a matter of, oh yeah, this team has a lot of talent through these 4 years that maybe some other programs don't have in the next 4 years. But I guess just what are some of the challenges that you're trying to answer at Eastview to like continue the rebuild and kind of launch it into the middle to upper tier of 6A?
Yeah, the in 6A, every team's tough. Every team's challenging, right? You go up against these programs, these head coaches who are prepared. They've done their research. Um, Anytime you play, step on the field on Friday night, you're gonna have a battle on your hands. So, we're in the Maroon conference this year, and there's 5 teams in that, and I think those are the 5 teams of 6A that maybe um, have softer schedules. And I got to tell you, they're all hard games. Like all 8 of them on our schedule are tough. So we play Rosemont, who was the #1 seed this year. We play Eden Prairie. Um, some teams that we have on our schedule, you go up against them, and you're like, all right, this is challenging. And for us as a school, we're a top 15 enrollment wise school. It's just a matter of putting athletes in the position of success and teaching them and coaching them. If you're a lacrosse player, you're a hockey player, hey, you can be a football player too. And it's kind of the same thing when you talk about Canadian football to American football. It's like these kids are athletes. Can we teach them to be able to perform on the football field as well? And I think that's the part that we're still growing in, and we're learning in these two is like, okay, you get this kid and he's a basketball player. How can we turn him into an offensive tackle? We get this kid who's a lacrosse player. How can we be an outside linebacker, right? And I think that's kind of the thing is expanding that multi-sport approach for Eastview's best athletes to include football.
How has the recruiting like in-house, because I think that's one of the more important things for football to um, there can either be perceptions of football that uh, kind of limit people in wanting to come out, or whatever reasons they have, but how,
Yeah.
and maybe you're still trying to navigate this and how to recruit not even just other sports people, but you walk by somebody through fifth hour and you're like, oh yeah, he would make a good guard or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess how do you navigate that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword because, like, for guys like yourself and myself, we're football guys, so we don't understand why you wouldn't want to play football or be around football, right? So it's like, hey, what do it's September. What are you doing? You're like, you're 250. Why don't you come play?
Right.
It's tough to wrap your brain around why somebody would feel that way. And on the flip side, you get somebody like that, and you're like, God, this kid looks good. He looks good in his pads. He looks good in his cleats. Come on out and be a guard, you know, be a cornerback for us. And then you get him on the field, and you're like, oof, maybe not exactly what you expected. Um, so it's a double-edged sword where sometimes you get a kid who's like, "Hey, I've never played football. I want to try," and you're like, "All right, well, you don't have any athletic experience. Why don't you come on out and end up being a first-year starter, right?" So it's a challenging process to do in building recruiting because you never know what you're going to get. But I've talked with this with other head coaches. Hey, my big thing is I want everyone to play football, and like you're an athlete or you're not an athlete, you can still get something from the game. Why would you not come out and play, right? You learn all those the accessory skills around it, like teamwork and overcoming adversity and all those things that we talk about as coaches. Like you might not be a varsity starter in your first year, but you can learn a lot and you can develop a lot as a person. Come out and play.
Do you guys know who runs your Instagram account?
We're just pass that off to a former alumni actually. So
Okay,
we have
I was
someone
gonna
who's
say
going to take it
last
over.
year it was run like one of the best Instagram accounts of all. I
Let's
think you
go.
guys would have won my award for
Let's go.
best
Nice.
social media. So
Yeah,
I I
I'm
wanted to
sorry to
shout
interrupt.
that out.
Little plug for our guy Gavin Leanne, who is our photographer there. So he does our photography as well, and previously did Pearson H, who, both lacrosse guys at Eastview. Let's go.
If there was an award, you guys definitely would have got it.
That's great. I'll have
Um,
to pass that on. Thank you.
and then I guess what just when you look at your schedule this year, it's the same as last year, but I
Mhm.
guess this is one of the years where it's like the second year in a cycle, and I think you can kind of get an understanding and more of a feel going into the season because you played all these teams last year.
Right.
What are you looking forward to the most? What excites you the most about this season?
Yeah, definitely another big start against Farmington. We played them pretty tough last year, 35-28. It was a close game at their place, and we started our house this year. So I'm hoping to be able to play them tight as well. We get to see our rivals, Rosemont and Egan, again, and those are always fun games. Hoping to be able to stack some wins there. And then we get into the meat of our maroon schedule, and we expect to win the maroon. We let a couple games get away from us last year. We did a poor job of closing when it was really time to pedal on the gas, and you know we'd like to just reverse that. So I think the biggest thing is a big start for us, and then continuing to show up in the games that we should win in our maroon schedule.
Well, last year you guys played Farmington without a ton of film because they were doing a lot of
Yes,
schematic
we
stuff.
did.
So you
Yeah.
probably went in there somewhat blind. And now this year, again, the second year in a cycle, again,
Mm.
should help you guys going into
Yeah.
that matchup.
You know how football is. Everyone hears everything, so like you get little tidbits here and there. So we thought we felt a little bit comfortable with what we were kind of going to see. Obviously there's always wrinkles to it, but yeah, their offense looked pretty good by the end of the year. So the mixed bag of, yeah, we'll have more tape, but now they've figured their offense
Right.
out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
second year. And then just the Maroon games. I like them because I think you don't really see many Maroon games that aren't competitive either way. And that's kind of
yeah,
like the point of it is to like breed a sort of competitive football that
right.
maybe some Maroon teams don't get when they do face, the EPs, the Maple Grove, the Edina, what have you.
Mhm.
I guess just what are your takeaways in those kind of Maroon versus Maroon games?
The coaches of the Maroon Conference are all awesome, and we communicate well with each other. And when we get together, it's always like you said, it's a battle, and they're competitive, and um, they're they're fun. Like last year, we played Roseville at our place, and it was like that weekend of the crazy weather. And so, like, I know up the street in Rosemont, they had to cancel the delay the game by like an hour, and the storm was just far enough away that there was lightning in the background, which is fitting for us, and we're just a monsoon rain. And gosh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun against those guys. But the Maroon games for me are just like a real chance to be able to, you know, display everything that you can do. And whether you're playing Hopkins, who have the quarterback and the receiver last year who could just light up the field, or you're playing teams like Roseville who are going to be physical in your face, smash mouth, and going to the park and losing on a last second field goal. Gosh, that sticks in your craw a little bit, but they're fun games. I really enjoy those games.
Uh, Talk to me about Owen Bower. Just how his what have you seen from him in his like growth through the program? Just tell me a little bit more about him.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He's all of his 6'9" frame and 300 plus pounds. He's aggressive. He's someone who is like he's cunning. He knows exactly what to do on the field. He's true to his assignment. We had his brother come through the program as well, and he's now at St. Thomas. And Owen is he's gaining in his athleticism. The scouts who have come through to look at him have been really impressed with him. Um, he's received a couple offers, but he's the real deal. Like you look at an offensive tackle in the NFL, and he checks all the statistics that would be in that box, and I think he's going to make a college program pretty satisfied someday to have a 4 or 5 year starter at their offensive tackle spot, because he's gaining in strength, he's gaining in mobility, he understands the game, he's printed the real deal.
Yeah, when you can't teach size, and,
No,
and then sometimes you have the size, but it's like, oh, this guy can't
Mhm.
move out of his stance, or this guy can't do this. There's limitations that come with the size, which are completely justified with someone being that size, but it's just
Mhm.
the freak athlete, the thing that separates those
Yeah.
dudes from other dudes is that they can move, they can do other things. So,
And the thing just this year that he's going to add on is like another tier of aggressiveness, where he's he's an awesome kid in the classroom, like high GPA, smart. He does all the extracurriculars, all that good stuff. But now he's also kind of, so far this year we've seen he's added a little, when you get between the hash marks, he's at a little level of aggression, which is awesome to see. It's that next step he needed to take this year, and so far already he's been taking it.
love it. And now going on to this season, I guess what's your goal and what do you think you have to be more successful at this year compared to last to have a more successful year?
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit when I was talking about the park game. We have to be able to close games. We we were seemingly run out of gas, or just the end of games were tough for us. And so even the games that we won, we made them interesting when they shouldn't have been. So we have to do a better job of closing games out. Defensively, we got to create more turnovers. We had a tough time creating turnovers last year, and we got to do a better job of that. And offensively, we just got to get more first downs, especially early in the game. It was frustrating that we get our first, second drive, and quite often they wouldn't produce points. And so we have to do a better job of putting up points early in the games. Like I said, we expect to win the Maroon, and then we have some other games that we think that we have a real shot in, that we're excited to compete and improve our win loss record from last year.
Love it. Well, thank you, Coach, for taking the time, and I can't wait to see what you guys do this fall.
I appreciate it. Thank you.